Amen, amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to those gatherers in the garden. Good morning to those on Zoom and on Facebook. We're still working out the balance and the dance of how we are present in all three spaces, but we're just grateful that you're here and grateful that you're gathered with us. I want you to get clear before I give you the title of this sermon. Amen? For the last 2 weeks, those who are in Bible study have been in 1 Kings, its 18th chapter. Here's the conversation between Elijah, called the major prophet, who has all the word, who is the last one. The other 11 dead, he the last one. Hello, somebody. He meets with Obadiah, who is the controller of Israel, at a time when they're in the midst of a famine that has no end, a famine that at its height looked like it would wipe out everybody and everything. And in a moment of just absolute, I don't know what else to do, Obadiah and the king, Ahab, divide up and go looking for just a little bit of grass. Hello, somebody, that maybe they could find a patch to feed the horses and the cows that they might live on. That everybody won't die immediately. Won't die immediately. They're going to die eventually from famine, but not immediately. And Obadiah happens upon Elijah. And remember, he just went looking for a little grass. And now here shows up the prophet who everybody's waiting for a word from the Lord to end the famine. He is so overwhelmed by this, he doesn't even believe it's happening and can't figure out how to tell the king, hey, the man you're looking for, I found, because other people have been killed for not finding him, for not being able to produce the answer. Hello, somebody? They converse together. They have this conversation. They send out, he tells them this stuff's going to happen and all of that. You have to read 18th chapter of 1 Kings in order to unpack it. But he basically tells him, he absolutely tells him, he assuredly tells him, because I can't stand sometime in language, not basically, he assuredly tells him, go, and what God is about to do is going to save the land. And he tells him, he tells his worker even, go to the top of the mountain and wait for this thing to happen from the Lord. And he goes and comes back, he says, nope, nothing. Do it again, nothing. Do it again, nothing. Do it, and 7 times he does it. And then, 6 times. Then on the 7th, he goes and comes back and says, I see something forming over the sea, but it can't be, much bigger than a man's fist. It's a cloud, but it can't be much bigger than a man's fist, but it's something, I wish somebody who stopped waiting for your breakthrough to come up on a 18-wheeler who expected to come 6'5" with a blank paycheck to realize that when God moves, God produces something, If you are in a drought season, and you've been waiting on something, remember, I like to say this, remember you put a seed in the ground. So as we're waiting for this storm to come, as they're waiting for some sort of evidence of God, Elijah shows that it's something the size of a man's hand, right? And then he tells King Ahab, as a matter of fact, you need to run on now before the storm catches. Hello, somebody. I want somebody to hear before the storm even catches, before there's even what look like good clouds, trusting God with this hand-sized, human-sized evidence of what's going on. You need to run now, before the storm catches. This is where we pick up, because we read it 3 weeks ago and then last week, and then I was going to unpack it in this week's Bible study. And the Lord said, move on, go on to 19. This is for Sunday. Here are the last 2 lines, the last 2 verses of chapter 18. Wait for it, here it comes. It says, meanwhile, see, he told him to run on. Meanwhile, the sky had grown black with clouds. See, you move, I move, just like that. Meanwhile, it looked like just a hand-sized blessing. He said, run on before the storm catches. Then it said, meanwhile, the sky had grown black with clouds. The wind rose and a heavy rain began to pour. Ahab mounted his chariot and set off for Jezreel, right? But the power of the Lord came upon Elijah. He tucked up his robe, and ran before Ahab all the way to Jezreel, So I want you to receive as a word today, Y'all ready? It's 3 words, but it's something somebody been waiting for your faithfulness. So I want you to get who Elijah is before you get lost in what's happening. Elijah tells us later on when he's struggling with God, but what we know for certain by the Bible, by the word itself, is in fact that he is the last prophet. All the other ones been killed, right? All the 11 tribe prophets, But Queen Jezebel decided to kill all the prophets, right? So she put them to good death. But he hid some. Obadiah hid some of them, so that they could live on and prophesy God's word. But Jezebel was going to make sure they were all done, right? And then, so Elijah finds himself with this weight on his shoulder. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. And his capacity to hear from God and to be waiting on God to tell him what to tell all the people to do next. You may not think this is about to be a pride word, but I promise you it is. Because what's imperative that we receive in this word today is how Elijah struggled with being the last one. He said they killed everybody. I've done all I know how to do, Lord, and I'm the only one left. They killed everybody else, and they after me. I wish somebody who had days where they felt like something was after you. And you were like, Lord, they might get me because they got everybody else, and I'm the last one. You think your shout is about the fact that somewhere in your life you destined to be the first. Hello, somebody. Simone Biles is the first to do a particular flip. They had to name it after her. Somebody was the first to go up to the moon. Somebody was the first to be the black captain, to be the black leader. Somebody was the first. I want somebody here to shout about the fact that God has told me you the last. You're the last one in your generation to keep a secret. You're the last one to go through pain. You're the last one to live through poverty. You've been struggling with wanting to be the first. God told me to tell you you're the last. Because for your faithfulness, I'm about to break a curse. For your faithfulness, I'm about to end the season. For your faithfulness, the thing that tried to take you out is dead, over, and done. I wish somebody could hear me. I want the Elijah spirit to move in you because you've been trapped and you've been trodden along. You've been worn and weary thinking, Lord have mercy, when is this going to end? Because you wanted to have that first bright new day, that first bright new car, that first bright sparkling $100 bill, that first thing that you could show off to everybody else. What you don't realize is for your faithfulness, God is calling, commissioning you to be the last that had that angst and that anger on you, the last one in your family that's still fighting and fussing over stuff 5 generations ago, the last one to still be weary and worn and torn down, thinking you just might not make it. You're the last one. You're the last one who ain't certain and sure that God got you. You're the last for your faithfulness. I want you to understand what I'm trying to tell you, because you came out as a lesbian a long time ago and somebody dismissed you from the table. You came out as a gay man a long time ago, and somebody thought they erased your name from the book. They didn't realize, that every time they removed your place from the table, that God served you in a whole nother room. God said, sit down. We get ready to have a one-on-one stuff. It's a small little table, just 2 places, you and me, just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus, if you please. They wanted to be at the big table so they could show off for other people. See me in the Lord? I get to go to the Lord's house every day. I get to eat from the fine china. God break out the pretty crystal glass for me. But they don't realize the crystal glass come with this one. Lord, if you're going to give me a red cup to drink what you got for me, that means it can hold more. I wish somebody who came for more. Some people just want to be in the cute little glass. You know the one they serve aperitif in the little glass. They serve the little swishing wine in the little glass. I'm so glad my drink can't fit in a small cup. Oh, no, that's too much for somebody. God said, I'm trying to get you to understand. Lift up your hands, though, you say. God said, I'm trying to get you to understand that this season I'm about to take you in is for your faithfulness. And you might come in sweating. You might come in tattered and tired. But that's so somebody can ask you, Beryl, you wet. Where you been? Whoa, your shoes look like they done been through something. Where you been? You wanted to walk in quiet, and God is going to make you walk in a testimony. God's going to make you walk in having to tell somebody, teach somebody, carry with somebody about the goodness of the Lord. Because if you walked in, undewy, if you walked in undewy, unspent, unworn out, they would just let you peek in the back, creep in the back, and that would keep that cycle of silence going. God said, I want you to walk in the door like Sugar Avery walked in that church, Maybe God is trying to tell you something. You tried to kick me out and God called me up to the mountain. You told me I wasn't worthy, God called me into the mountain. You told me I wasn't able, God called me up to the mountain. And I'm so glad that I'm smiling here before you today because I've been to the mountaintop. God said, I've done great things for you. Wonderful things, great and marvelous things you don't know nothing about. But what I'm about to do for you for your faithfulness. Do you know what it takes for people on top of people, preachers on top of deaconesses, on top of mothers of the church to tell you that God didn't know you, didn't need you, didn't love you, didn't like you, for you to still seek God, for you to still call on the name of the Lord when you're in trouble, for you to still fast and pray, for you to still bend knee, for you to still wave your hand, for you to still get something that somebody told you God couldn't give you, and you said thank you to the Lord when they told you you was outside of God's favor, outside of God's grace, outside of God's peace, outside of God's power. God said, baby, that's faithfulness. That's faithfulness. They told you to get out and you stayed beside the church. You might not have come in, but they wanted to send you all the way back to Sodom and Gomorrah, all the way back to hell and high water. And you said, on Christ, the solid rock I stand. All other ground, somebody here that saved you, you done sanctified your mama. You don't even realize it. Because quietly, when she said, baby, how you doing, mama? I'm blessed. Baby said, blessed. Even though I called her a bulldog and put her out of my house, she said, blessed. Even told her she's a sissy. Baby, how you doing? You know, mama, God is great and greatly to be praised. Where you get that from? Because you ain't get it from me. As a matter of fact, I tried to snatch it from you. As a matter of fact, I tried to remove you from it. As a matter of fact, I tried to rebuke you from it. And so for your faithfulness, I wish somebody who could hear me. I wish somebody who was got on a rainbow flag, who think that God's grace can't penetrate the Roy G. Biv, huh? Roy, R-O, see, that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Don, they think you can't get past that. You got on too much rainbow. You too loud. You too swishy and squishy for the Lord. I'm so glad the Lord I serve knows me from the top of my head to the crown of my feet. I'm so glad that the Lord called me to be a peacock, a bunch of hawks. God said, I need every bird to do what I call the bird to do. And you're so busy mad at my peacock that you ain't being your butt, huh? Some birds in your family are vultures. They wait for you to die so they can pluck off of you. But you got to be the peacock dog God commissioned you to be. And it don't make no sense because you come from a family of flyers and peacocks don't fly, huh? They want to be all loud and up here. And God said, stay down there and show them how it's done. Poof. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Why you ain't flying? The rest of us was born to fly. You from a family of football players. Why you playing tennis? You from a family of doctors. How come you doing the modeling thing? They want you to be like them so that they don't see a separate them, another them as possible. Anybody? Some of your family members are hawks in drag. You hear me? They really just pigeons, but they press it and faking it for the family. The Lord said, because I put one or two peacocks in your bunch and you were willing to do the thrilling. Hello, somebody. You were willing to show up in your fullness for your faithfulness. I wish somebody could hear me. God got something for you for your faithfulness. I wish somebody would lift up their hand on Zoom for your faithfulness. Huh? See, I want you to understand this from a real place, because this ain't about the Lord rewarding you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't say God said, the pastor said God got rewards for you. No, 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 no. God's got a process for you, right? Huh? So the last shall be free. It's a process, huh? On the other side, on the other side of the mountain, on the other side of the thing you pray, huh? But what is this really about? This is really about three things that we done heard all our Christian lives long, huh? Why God has something for your faithfulness is because the word said, ask and you shall receive, huh? You know how many people ask God and then turn away because it don't come fast enough? Ask God and turn away because it don't happen the way they want it. It don't happen in front of the people they want it to happen in front of. And God said, for your faithfulness, when they told you to turn around, you remember the time I picked you up and turned you around, and you stood still, trusting and believing that I had you. So because you asked, huh, holding your wife's hand in prayer, because you asked, huh, because even when they try to misgender you, because you asked, huh, even when people say you're not worthy and you're not worthy, because you asked, I got something for you, huh? Because you seek, huh? Expecting to find, huh? On this morning service, we had a conversation of seek, seeds, huh? Huh? When you ask the Lord from it, you got to get up in the day. You got to go in the journey expecting it. Don't look at, hey, tell me about that time you saw. You didn't expect to see it, but once you see it, you saw it. Hello, somebody. Anybody? When you ask God for something and you don't expect it, what your faith will allow you to do is to see it, even when you didn't expect to see it, because you can't act like you ain't saw it. Hello, somebody. Anybody? You can't, huh? When your moon shifts, when the planet realigns, you go, I didn't even go out looking for this, but I went out looking because I have eyes. And the Lord said, if you trust me, look at it, huh? And you get to seek, expecting to come. And here come the hard part that a whole lot of people who have been through the storm can't always hold up to do. Knock, and the door will be open, huh? You ain't got to bang. You ain't got to go out the porch and out the yard and yell their name. You got to be right there at that door, trusting that God's going to get to the door when it's due season and not letting anybody else walk in the door you knocked on. Hello, somebody. What's about, people get mad because they do the work and knock and then they leave the door. If I walk past the door and the door open, I'm walking in too. You got to stand still and know God got you and be willing to stand at the door even when people talk about you funny because you're standing at a closed door. Say, it's not a closed door. It is not yet open. Hello, somebody. It is not yet open. And that's the thing God is trying to cover you with for your faithfulness, because you've been through the storm and did not move, for your faithfulness, because you got off the boat and walked on the water, for your faithfulness, because you was number 216 in a line that only had 5 loaves and 2 fishes, but you stood in the line for that kind of, I wish somebody could hear me, for the people who made sandwiches out of the silver peanut butter that just said peanut butter, for the people who cut up and put in the sandwich the thing that just said meat, for somebody who ever did half real eggs, half powdered eggs. I wish somebody who, God said, you think what I'm getting ready to do for you is just because of what you're going through? This is for what you've been through and stood in while they was trying to cast you out for your faithfulness. I wish am I the only one that's been through poverty? Anybody ever had condiment sandwiches? Fill in the condiment. Mustard, syrup, mayonnaise, ketchup, Miracle Whip. That was a treat because it was smooth and sweet. You could pretend it was cured ham. Especially if one of the things you used was a butt of anybody? That you remember the time that God kept you, covered you, and comforted you when you were in the midst of a storm. So I want y'all to get what happened here with Elijah. Elijah done all the hard work, thinking, killed all the other prophets, but God, no. I trusted God even when it was dry out, dry bone. He trusted him even when it was dry outside. Sent him back when the 6th time he ain't seen nothing. I said, you trust him? Do it again. He saw a handful of something. I wish somebody would lift up your hand, with just a handful of something, And he said, I see a little bit of a storm. He said, you better hurry up because God is moving. You better hurry up because God is working on what God said. You better hurry up. Somebody say you better hurry up. Say it to yourself. Hey, say it so you can hear. You better hurry up. You better clear out your closet if you want the new wardrobe. You better pack your bags if you want the new house. You better expect the thing. You better open your hands if you expect God to shower down. Hurry up. Because then what it said Elijah did is that he then told Ahab, the king, run on in your chariot, before you get caught up in this storm. I'll meet you in Jezreel, Did he call an Uber? He did not. Did he have a friend waiting around the corner? He did not. He hiked up his robe, hello somebody, and tucked it in his shirt and started to run on the head of the chariot. I want you to see that just in case you don't understand that. The chariot is not motor. It's not motor driven. You don't turn it on, turn it off. You hee-haw and the horse runs, So it means he outran the horse and the thing with wheels on it to get where God told him to, because God had poured extra in him, because it didn't say he did it on his own accord. It said the Spirit of the Lord got on him, Those times when you sense something and it feel like that time when you feel something moving in a circumstance that's supposed to be dead, in a thing that you thought you missed the deadline, in a something that you thought was over, in a time that you meet somebody and you think it's through, when you think you can't do no more, see no more, be no more. God says, if you trust me, start moving. If you trust me and my foot is itching, that means some money get ready. I'm getting ready to go somewhere. Is that why they say when you look up a superstition, when your feet itch, you're about to run somewhere. I can't choreograph this. This foot got so hot I had to take the shoe off, so I might as well take the other off, because I don't know what my God is working on this Pride Sunday. But what I know is that God told me to tell somebody, maybe myself, that for your faithfulness, I'm about to do something you were told you didn't deserve, that you thought you missed, that you thought was over, that you thought had passed, that you was told you didn't deserve, that you watched the time clock run out. God said, you're not dead. I'm not done. You're not dead. I'm not done. Speak to your faith and say, faith, you're not dead. I'm not done. Because faith without works is dead, and you've been working. Faith without fire is dead. And your faith been on fire when somebody told you you weren't good enough, you weren't God enough. Somebody been told you ain't gay enough. God said, for your faithfulness. For your faithfulness. Who is this for? For Your faithfulness, what is this about? For your faithfulness. The word this morning was about opportunity. An opportunity, is defined as a set of circumstances that makes it possible for something to happen. You wanted something to happen to be cute and pretty so other people could look at you. But God said, I'll knock you down so you could get it. I'll let it happen in front of the naysayers so you could leap up in front of them. I let it happen when people were ringing around the rosy. I'm just being nosy so that they can see God keep you, cover you, comfort you, and then catapult you to your blessing. I wish somebody who expect July to get hot, who expect a new thing to unpack for you, a new thing to be revealed for you, a new thing to show up for you. This is the words you've been waiting on. You've been waiting on this word, opportunity, to be poured into your ear, because this is the set of circumstances. A pandemic, losing a job, some people falling away. God said, this is just about the right atmosphere I need to bless you with. Because if I showered down on you when all of them was around you, you would have divided the blessing by as many people as that were there. So I had to send the herd. I had to send the herd, because you would have thought that your responsibility, your obligation and grace was to give everybody a little bit of something, no matter what they did or did not give you. So now it's just 1 or 3, 5 or 15, and we used to be 50. I said, now what I'm about to do, If it's you, go on, lift your hand. If it's you in expectation, I wish somebody who's sitting out here who saw it go from gray to shining, who saw, there was a storm coming, but somebody said, who said, did you say it earlier, Tracy? He said, it looks gray out here that I didn't bring my umbrella, but I see bright clouds over there, When it looked like the sun wouldn't shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds, They've been telling you ain't worthy. You ain't worth it. But when you show up, God shows up, because they were scared, trepidatious, worried, weary, sad and sullen, and then the rainbow people showed up. Do you know what it's, don't nobody want to hear. Do you know what it means to be from the rainbow tribe? I wish somebody could hear me, That means that something happened in the cloud, Not to the cloud, in the cloud. God used the clouds, because people don't like clouds, but rainbows like clouds. Hello, somebody. Rainbows come out the clouds of clouds. Rainbows are light that have to bounce off of water and keep transmuting until they find something else luminous to bounce off of. You understand that? So the point between the 2 points of light is the rainbow, but the starting point is light. And the end point is light. Water seeks its own level. And God is building bridges between you and your opportunity, you and your anointing, you and your blessing, you and your next level. A couple I married on Wednesday said that everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Then we got through the wedding only to find out the caterer had the wrong date and didn't show up with the food on time. And they tried to have a moment of silence. And I was like, you can't go through nothing when you got married on 7/14/21. 7 is already a blessed number. Then you double the blessing. And then it's triple. That's blessing on blessing on blessing. Don't you understand that the enemy would try to show up when you got blessing on blessing on blessing, ever signified in the day y'all came together? I said, but I bet you better understand that while the enemy was trying to make you think God wasn't here, it wasn't working, everything was sullen. Them last few people running into the wedding got in there and said, whoo, it's showering down, it's pouring down. They were like, we was just out there. I was out there and it was sunny. I was out there and it was humid, but it looked just fine. They said, we wet because it's raining. We wet because out of nowhere it started showering down. We're wet because, And I said, everybody in here who put a seed in the ground, lift your hands up. Don't freak out. I know you want to freak out because you forgot that you put a seed in the ground and you want your wedding pictures to be bright and pretty. But your marriage is a bunch of seeds placed in the ground. And I need you to see that God, from the day you got married, is telling you, I am watering your seeds for your faithfulness. I know it might not happen quick. For your faithfulness. I know you expected 10 and the 10,000 and it only came as 1,000, but watch what God's about to do with it. For your faithfulness. Somebody disappointed you, but because you didn't fall out, the person that comes behind them is going to quintuple what God has for you. For your Faithfulness. Somebody is worried and weary because you got a bad grade on that last test. You're not certain and not sure if you can do this next level. But for your faithfulness, because you don't give up, because you didn't give up, God's about to do a thing for you that's going to blow and change your mind. Blow and change your mind, huh? Sometime in order to get a new tire, the old one got to blow. Somebody hear me? If it was up to you, the battery would always be fine. The alternator would always be fine. The wipers would always wipe, and you'd never change. So they got to give out in order for you to be reminded that you bought this thing to go on a long journey. And sometimes some of the pieces and parts wear out, and you got to change them, huh? Thank God I don't have the same mind I had when I started this journey. Thank God I don't have the same faith I had when I started this journey. Thank God I'm not the same me I was when I started this journey. And God said, because you didn't give up, because you didn't go over and serve some other devil, serve some other mink, because you didn't make money your God, because you didn't go out in credit debt crazy. Ooh, I got something for you. I wish somebody who came out today looking for something. Somebody who tapped in today expecting something, praying for something, whispering for something. Whisper. Lord, if you could do something, if you could shift something today, if you could change something today, I'll be glad. I'll give you glory. I'll lift up my hands. I'll praise your name. I wish somebody in the midst of muck and mire would lift up their hands so God can go, there she is. And for your faithfulness. You didn't expect it, but for your faithfulness. You didn't expect the business to grow like that, but for your faithfulness. You didn't think that grant even had your name on it, but for your faithfulness. You didn't think the doctor was going to come back with that report, but for your faithfulness. You didn't think it was going to turn around like that, but for your faithfulness. You didn't think you was going to get that much on your bonus, but for your faithfulness. Trusting God, you got to hike up your skirt, huh? Remember, Mama and them used to say a woman can run faster with her skirt up than a man can with his pants down. For your faithfulness. You got to trust God like you've never trusted God before, because this time is you trusting God in you. God said, what I'm about to do is not around in the atmosphere. It's for you, in you, because of you, huh? For you, in you, because of you. Say it again. For you, in you, because of you. It's scared. We get scared to make it personal, huh? The blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. You got to do the me strength, because otherwise it's proverbial blood, huh? It's droplets of blood on the ground, wasted. But what if it fall on your head, huh? Huh? Grandma and them used to say when a bird doo-dooed on you, oh, baby, no, that make your head grow, huh? So ain't none of this wasted if you trust God. Ain't none of this wasted if you walk in faith. Ain't none of this wasted if you believe. Ain't none of this wasted if you put a seed in the ground. Ain't none of this wasted if you lift up your hand. Ain't none of this wasted if you open your mouth. Ain't none of this wasted if you swear and declare that God got you. For your faithfulness. I dare you to stand to your feet. For your faithfulness. It's me. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. For your faithfulness. I know they said it was never going to happen. I know they said my season was done. I know they said I didn't deserve, but for your faithfulness. God told me to tell somebody here, run on and see what the end going to be. Run on and see what the end going to be. Stop skipping. Stop moving slow, because they want you to miss it. They want you to miss it. You don't know that 742 is an express bus. They want you to miss it. They don't know that before 9 o'clock, if you get in, it's free. They want you to miss it. Run on and see what the end's going to be. Run on and see what God has for you. What God has for me, it is for me. And it's waiting on you. And it's not, God's not telling you to run because it's going to run out. God's trying to tell you to run before it expires. Your fire loses its flame. Your focus loses its direction. Run, huh? Run, huh? Run, huh? But my back, run, huh? Put some of that salve on it. Some of that Licotain on it. Some of that Aspercreme on it. And run. Put on a brace and run. Put on a tourniquet. You bleed now, run. Because the enemy doesn't want you to realize that when you get there, your healing going to meet you there. Your point is going to meet you there. Your purpose is going to meet you there. Your power is going to meet you there. Your prize is going to meet you there. They trying to see if they can leave your stuff in layaway long enough, they can claim it. You know, if you put stuff on storage. After a while, huh, they start to have auctions over your stuff. And people get happy to receive the stuff you left for dead. You left behind. I wish somebody who believed in ways that you didn't believe before would understand that for your faithfulness, you getting ready to run where you was barely walking. You getting ready to run where you was given skip power. I'm moving faster than I used to. God said, you ain't moving fast as you're about to. What I'm about to do shall be wonderful great. What I'm about to pour in you, what I'm about to do for you, is about to shine upon you more grace and more mercy, more peace and more power, more hope and more help than you think you deserve. But if anybody in here is prepared today, If anybody in here is prepared today, If anybody, let me move this out the way so ain't nothing between you and the Lord. If anybody in here is prepared today to run, one of them emojis, just run. Because I want you to believe, that by this time, tomorrow, by this, see, we don't believe each other enough. If I could, I wouldn't make nothing. I wouldn't say nothing in front of y'all. Y'all say, Pastor, I waited till 11:54 the next day and ain't nothing happened. I would get shut up and something happened. I would get glory to God. But God told me to tell somebody about this time tomorrow, something you didn't expect, something you had counted out and thought for dead is going to land at your feet, right at your feet. Right, you checked your mail on Saturday, it wasn't there. You're going to get there before the mail comes on Monday, and it's going to be there. And your whole testimony is going to be, Lord, how did this get here? Because they didn't deliver mail on Sunday. How did this get here? I checked on Saturday, it wasn't here. How did this get here? God said, it don't matter, because I got to do something for you in this next level for your testimony to shift and shout, Anybody prepared to shift and shout? Anybody prepared to shift and shout? Anybody had feeling before that something was waiting for you, that something was coming to you and it didn't seem to show up because there was something in its way? Something was in its way. Something was in its way. And what was in its way was that you were walking slow, thinking that you had to give God time. God said, I don't need no time. I'm the creator of time. If you trust me, let's run. Crystal, that's why on Wednesday, me, Crystal, and Tanya busted a 58 minutes, we did 4.25 miles. That means we did a 14.75 minute mile. Right, but here's the but, Here's the but, and here's where the fire comes in. But, what Elijah said to Ahab and to us is that a storm's come, Don't run without the water, Don't forget to hydrate, because it's a highway that, don't forget that you're doing more now than you used to do. Prepare yourself, I don't need nothing but a few graham crackers before I leave the house. That's because before you wasn't doing nothing. Now you better eat breakfast. For your faithfulness, you better put that backpack on with a whole gallon of water in it. I'm tired. Oh, I'm not tired anymore. I'm dehydrated. I'm dehydrated. Because when your body gets dehydrated, that is your body telling you it is already sufficiently dehydrated. That means when you got up this morning, you didn't prepare to be blessed. Before you move, you should have 32 ounces of water in your body. That's a whole lot that's going to weigh me down. Not once you start moving. Thinking that filling yourself up with water is going to weigh you down is like it's to justify not filling up the car before you go on a long trip. Somebody going to catch that in a minute. It might be full now, but when I move, it moves. I didn't think I needed all this because it don't take all this to go back and forth to work, but I ain't going to work. It doesn't take it to need all this because I ain't going back and forth to the same place. I'm not going to the same place. As we move, we sweat. And we release what we already got in us. But the reason we release what's already in us, because the law of physics says that no two things can occupy the same space at the same time. So God is letting what you used to be leak out to make room for what you're about to be. I wish somebody could. Anybody hear me? When you sweat, when you cry, when you release, God is making room for what you used to be so that God can pour in what you're about to be. Anybody? For your faithfulness, lift up your hands. Gracious and eternal Lord God, we come before your throne of grace and mercy today with our palms itching, with our feet itching, with our bellies empty, Lord God, that you might fire off and fill up us, Lord God. Today, Lord God, on purpose, with purpose, in purpose. On purpose, with purpose, in purpose. We swear and declare that we are prepared to run on and see what the end will be. Thank you for giving us the strength to walk. Thank you for giving us the strength to skip. Thank you for giving us the strength to move on and still be here. But for this next season, for what's ahead, you're telling us to stretch. You're telling us to hydrate. You're telling us to lubricate, to get our sleep, because you're about to turn it all the way up. You're about to open doors we thought were closed. You're about to move opportunities before us that we thought were behind us. Bless us, Lord, in this season. No matter the age, no matter the angle, in this season. Bless us indeed and in doing. In this season. I open my mouth, fill me up. I open my heart, fill me up. I open my hands, empty me out so that they are available to receive brand new and new. Bless me, Lord, indeed and in doing. And I'll be sure to give you all praise, all glory, and all honor. But for this, Lord God, and all the things you do so well. We lift you up as you lift us up right now. And that is why, without one doubt, while we scream and we shout, that we keep on trusting. For your word is true. You've already done what you said you would do. Ashe, amen, and so it is. Come on, clap your hands. Come on, clap your hands. For your faithfulness. You didn't think you were faithful because you sat still sometimes. You didn't think you were faithful because your mind was ready to give up sometimes. But I bet you better shout about your feet still moving. Huh? Sometimes your mouth was like, I ain't doing it. But your feet was already halfway there. I want to thank God for the times that my hand wasn't waiting, but my feet kept on dancing. For your faithfulness. For your faithfulness.